Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. N-A-G-I-C-O. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Najiko too.
Najiko is insurance. Insurance is Najiko.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
At GEBE, our commitment extends beyond utilities. It's about exceptional service. Meet the heart of the operation, the customer service team. GEBE, the power to serve.
And I fall, I'm at a knee. Tell me how to wait a bit. Tell me how to wait more. Tell me all that I should know.
Late night show with Andrew Dick. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Enrique. Okie dokie kids, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with the news of the Electoral Council. A 7-page letter, advice, was sent to the government, the Prime Minister, Dr. Luc Mercelina, that basically it's not possible for us to have elections, for the election process to begin next week, Friday. According to this 7-page document, the voting bureau is not ready. They can't do it. It's not possible. It ain't happening. Nah. Can it? It can't happen. That's it. Party done. Why? Because you need me to organize your elections. You need me to have administrators. You need me to do the registering of parties. You need me to make sure close the voters registry. You need to make sure you give new parties a chance to also register. And we just can't do it within 2 to 3 months. It can't happen. Therefore, this is what we propose. Since you can't do your job properly, this is what we're proposing, a nice timeline of days that does not trample on the whole Constitution of St. Martin. That was basically the 7-page letter. And of course, at the end they said, respectfully, of course. Respectfully. Because they had to go and get a constitutional expert stating as to why they can't do it. Yes, the Prime Minister is the one that is the boss. He's the one that is in charge of all our elections. He is the one that invokes Article 59. But you need executors, people to execute. So they're respectfully telling the boss, we don't have the tools to do what you ask in such a short time. So let's just move it up just by a couple of weeks. So instead of we having elections in July, we'll have it in August. That's it, master. That's it. Nothing else. Relax. Don't get upset. The URSM Prime Minister has not answered as yet. We have to wait and see what will he say. I think it's realistic. And it gives the opportunity for new parties to come in. Speaking about new parties, there is a new party in town. Frankie, I don't know. Are you too young? Are you too young to know about that one? But there was a slogan where Frankie Myers, for one of his campaigns, was, "You don't know." Now that I think about it, that line makes absolutely no sense. But everybody used to say it every time you see Frankie, you're like, you done now. Like, how do you even write it? You done now. What does that even mean? We were so gullible back then. I think I was that gullible. And the man get elected now. We elect the man. Frankie, you done now, elected. He was a commissioner. Okay. Damn. I tried to see if they had any other lines connected to the you don't know, and it was just popular, it was flashy, and yeah. Anyway, so Franklin Myers, our former member of parliament, a former minister, a former commissioner, a former Island Council member, is back on the scene with his party, the SAM party. Pete put up what the hell SAM means. I have no idea. I need to get used to it. I know the S stands for Swaliga. That's the most I remember. So, thanks. So, the thing is, when it comes to the new party, everybody is thinking it, so I will say it. How in the living hell will an uncle go against his nephew? How will an uncle and a nephew run on opposite parties, completely different parties? The SAM, and then you'll have the UP, and both are hard families, like first generation. Right, Pete? It's first generation? Yes. Nephew, uncle. It's gonna be one with the books. Now I know where Tamara going. You done now. Oh my God! So we know where Tamara going for sure. Because she and Frankie toy. And then Omar, you gotta show Uncle who's boss. This is it, Omar. Listen, family dinners is going to be very awkward. Because you'll have Frankie Myers going like, yeah, man, I had to go back into this politics thing because these young people don't know what they're doing, Omar gonna be like, wait, he know I tall. He know I taller than him, so he didn't see me. And then Frankie gonna be like,
if you really want to go down that road with me, prepare for it. I just respect everybody. I try to make jokes with everybody. But don't start to go down that road. Don't play with me, boy. Know your place.
Don't lock me up. Don't lock me up.
Know your place.
Don't lock me up. Don't lock me up.
Know your place.
Don't lock me up. Don't lock me up.
Know your place.
Don't lock me up. Frankie! I know my place. Do you know your place? I know her place. Do you know his place? I know my place. We did lose his place. She did take his place. But I'll try who the place. Read it.
know your place.
Know your place. Know your place.
Know your place. Don't lock me up. Yo, we used to have fun with Frankie with that song. That's going to be the most interesting dinners ever. Family gatherings. Going to be like, he going to be there in he brown. Omar going to be there in the green. And they're going to want to talk politics. So imagine, the government ain't no good. Yeah, because you're not in it. Wait, are you taking it easy on the table? Are you taking it easy? No politics. We said no politics. Brenda gonna be there like, we said no politics. Anyway, as far as the party is concerned, now understand this, with the new party being there, there's a possibility of other parties coming in too. So now it gives people a chance to actually recruit people, steal people, put them in another group, do all kind of things, mix and match. So sit back for a very interesting ride. Talking about interesting. Now, this morning, our Honorable Prime Minister, Luc Mercelina, did a interview with Lady Grace on the breakfast lounge. And for the life of me, I don't understand why this Prime Minister always likes to create the, how to say, he creates this narrative that everything is fine. It's okay. You know, and because he's a doctor, I think it's a bedside manner thing. You always have to assure your patient, even though that you know that the patient is dying, that everything is okay. So imagine the patient is in Martin and you have Dr. Luc Mercelina going like, it is okay, it is all right. We are going to go through this together. You watch me, I watch you, and I shall operate. And you shall be good, you shall be new and fresh, and we shall make sure that by the end of this whole journey, you will be running again to the arms of your family and everybody that loves you. Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Luc Mercelina on the Breakfast Club. Let me give you, a piece. Before they say, I don't like your FM. I don't like your FM.
The first thing I thought, this is the third national disaster for country St. Martin. The first big disaster that we had was 2017 with Hurricane Irma. The second, actually an international that had an enormous impact nationally, was our pandemic in 2019. And the third one that I think is the worst one of all the three is what transpired on the 3rd of May 2024. I consider what happened the 3rd of May 2024 as the biggest national disaster for this young country, St. Martin, that is going to really go in history of St. Martin as a black page in our history. And it goes further than the kingdom, countries. I had reaction from the other overseas territories of the kingdom. I had, of course, the same day, the State Secretary of the Netherlands reacting immediately. I had representative of the first and second chamber of the Netherlands. I have reaction of Caribbean leaders and even from the United States of America. People do not understand how many years back we threw back this country with what we did on the 3rd of May with this country. Mrs. Lady Grace, you told me, and it's very sad, you spoke about 17 days. I'm telling you, I counted it. You have to realize from this 70 days that started for us as a new hope and trust in democracy for our country. We had 6 days being Saturdays and Sundays. So if you deduct from the 17 days since the 3rd of May, we deduct 6 times a Saturday and a Sunday, you have 17 minus 6 days is actually 11 days. This government had a lifetime span of 11 days. Now you have to explain me in your wildest dream how a member of parliament have in 11 days a overview and a deeper sentiment about how this government, the new government, is moving forward with the country. And I think really that self above country, I will repeat it, self above country, egoism, pleasing agendas, thinking that material compensation is going to make you a happy citizen of this country, prevailed above poverty, suffering, and a brilliant livelihood in the future for the people of St. Martin. And you know, Lady Grace, on one side, we used to be in a mindset of we don't care. It is what it is. That is how the sentiment was recently before election. And now we are in the state of mindset of why are we where we are today. That shift from we don't care to having today a critical populace that is realizing and feeling the pain of the decision that has been made on the 3rd to throw down this government, this young government, is a sign now that people are starting to wake up and realize that the leaders that promised them that they will commit for progress of this country, that it was a big, big, big lie, and that they still see, although the fact that the people with a good intention, heart, and vision for the country have been completely thrown off track for those same greedy people to take over this country. Lady Grace, I'm going to tell you today, I will not give up as leader of this country. I'm going to do what have to be done, and the same hour after it was mentioned to me that I lost support in Parliament, I pulled Article 59 to show them that we will not be bullied and controlled by personal agendas in this country. It's now time for this government to move forward, as we started hitting the ground running as of the 3rd. They were so impressed with what we're doing that they said if we give this government more time to continue doing on the pace that they were busy to do, they will realize that we'll never more get a chance in this country to come in a driver's seat. And that is what I want to tell the people of St. Martin. First of all, Lady Grace, I want to thank the people of St. Martin for their strong belief in this government, their empathy, their belief, the hundreds of reactions that I got of people on the phone, on WhatsApp, those all involved in this government. These people are going to get such a wake-up call, the ones that did what they did on the 3rd. I'm going to tell you, we are going to make again history, but it will be the first national development that is really going to change this country. Perhaps sometimes I think, Lady Grace, that had to happen for people to wake up and understand to whom they have to give their mandate for us to move forward in a great direction with this country. You know, Lady Grace, even in the argumentation why that move has been made, nobody could be convinced that there was a well thought of reason to throw down a national government of a country. And even if you put it in the 11 days that I say, it's of course 70 days, you deduct 6 days of weekends, it's 11 working days. There is no way in a government system that you can analyze the effectiveness and efficiency of a government by judging it in 11 days. It is not possible. But you know, Lady Grace, we can continue talking about the reasoning behind throwing down this government. It's evident for the people of St. Martin that this has nothing to do with justification of a wrong direction that this new government was going with. This has all to do with personal interest, private personal agendas, putting, and I repeat, put self above country. And I think what they did are going to give them such a wake-up call in the outcome of the upcoming elections that nobody ever again is going to dare to pull this string on us again.
You pulled a card.
I pull a card on them.
You pull a card on them.
Yes.
Did you see that coming?
Yes. And you know, Lady Grace, I had Friday, the Friday before this Monday, I had a one-on-one meeting with the ex-prime minister of this country, sitting with her on my request and her request.
This is the PM Jacobs you're talking about.
I received her, gave her enormous acknowledgement and a courtesy acceptance, speaking with her about transition of this government while she was sitting there knowing what was going to happen on Monday. I was enormously impressed with what has happened. Whilst Friday night I'm sitting with her on the 4th floor of the government building, receiving her as a statesperson to acknowledge that she has governed this country for 4 years, to thank her for what she has done. If it was good or not, she would have done good things for the country too. I said I have to give her her respect. Not for me to Monday morning stand up and in the morning for the government to fall, while she's sitting there 2 days before that talking with me as if nothing is going wrong. I think that this is a disgrace for the country, what transpired on the 3rd of May. But okay, people.
But you feel betrayed somehow.
No, I don't feel betrayed. I feel that the people of St. Martin has lost a great opportunity after waiting so long for a process of prosperity to be again thrown back in their misery, in their poverty, and in a community with lack of direction the way we were going with it.
I think, Lady Grace, it's also important to mention that these new parties and these new people that want to come for my job, they will not be successful because Curaçao will prevail. I mean, URSM will prevail. URSM will prevail. All right, calling all Curaçaoians come on the URSM train. Oh, all right. Earlier today, Claudius von Camper dropped a bomb. He said that 3 members of the National Alliance called Dr. Luc Messelina yesterday. Was Claudius von Camper, or it was, it was Claudius von Camper. Claudius von Camper said that 3 members of the Great 8 decided to call Dr. Luc Messelina trying to form a coalition. Oh, you waiting for more? That's it. So my reaction was like, so? Politicians do what? Politicians do. They're always going to find a way not to do the hard and heavy lifting. Duh. So they backstab each other. Let them backstab each other. That's okay. So yeah, they called, or they trying to convince, or they're paying off just so that they can benefit themselves. You still surprised? I'm not, because we're going to a whole election. So you ain't worried about us going to election. You worried about who calling who? I swear. Priorities in this place is amazing. Welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
Attention, St. Martin. Get ready for the biggest used car blowout event of the year at Motor World Used Cars. Happening on Saturday, June 1st at 9 a.m. sharp. A wide variety of cars, Jeeps, and trucks will be on sale with discounts off the entire inventory. They're offering certified pre-owned vehicles starting as low as $5,000. And remember, cash is king. First come, first serve. Don't miss out on Motor World's used car blowout sale on Saturday, June 1st, where you could save big on a used car. Visit Motor World Used Cars in Kobe or MotorWorldGroupSXM.com for more information.
Hey, did you know I just signed up for Flex by Telem?
Do you mean flex like this?
Definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not flex like that. Telem's Flex is a mobile plan that adapts to your needs. Each month, I get a preset monthly fee that has a set amount of data, SMS, and minutes. So I know what I'm getting. But say goodbye to overages and bill shock because when I go over my postpaid plan, it switches to prepaid. So I have the flexibility to top up what I need when I need it. I'm in complete control. My budget, my rules.
Now it's time for your flashback. Let's get into it.
Flashback.
Lord, allow me to speak to you during this very difficult time in the history of St. Martin. I believe that this is a time where the people need to go to the polls in order to make me Prime Minister of this wonderful country. Father, I think it is time for us all to rally behind the St. Martin Christian Party and vote us with the overwhelming support because these parties are no good. They are no good, my Lord. Yes, I see it. I think the Prime Minister and the worst minister in St. Martin's history, Cornelius de Weaver, will do very good on my list of the Christian Party. Sorry, Lord. There's no space for Stuart Johnson and his abomination ways. Okay, Lord, if you say so. Yes, I think that this is a very important time in the history of St. Martin. Therefore, that's why me, Wycliffe Smith, decided to sign this declaration invoking Article 59 for you, St. Martin people, to go back to the polls. I think it is time that you put your trust in somebody who always have your back no matter what. Yes. Let us begin the late night show.
From Phillipsburg, it's Late Night with your host, Andrew Dick. And now, here's your host of Late Night with Andrew Dick, Mr. Andrew Dick.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. No time for clapping, guys. No time for clapping. We need to get down to business. Let me break down your latest for you so that you can find out what is going on. Because, this is the silly season. And when the silly season starts, everybody becomes a political analyst. So take it from the people who have been doing this on a daily basis, every single damn day, even when nothing was happening. All right. So the Prime Minister has invoked Article 59, meaning that elections has to be called within 3 months. That's what she decided. 2, the majority of parliament, 9 members of parliament, meaning the National Alliance faction, the USP faction, Rolando faction, just joking, he's USP for now. And then also you have Messalina, Dr. Messalina, and of course Chanel Brownbill have come together and formed the, I call it, get ready for it, the Storm 9. The reason why I call them the Storm 9 is because it was formed during the storm that was happening in St. Martin. Like a storm was developing and they was developing also. So I call them the Storm 9. All right. Let me pass that. It has to sink in really. Now, everybody wants to know whether they're going to have elections or not. Well, it's pretty simple. For now, yes, there will be elections. Why? Because the governor of St. Martin, Eugene Holiday, has to decide whether to put his signatures to the LB, the decree from the Council of Ministers calling for new elections. Of course, she has to motivate it, meaning the Prime Minister. She held a impromptu press conference on Monday morning. It was an emergency press conference. Now, she didn't do it when she lost the majority, when Frankie Myers pulled his support and then the government dropped dead 2 weeks ago. No, 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 no. She did it when she heard that they have a new government, meaning they have 9 persons coming together and form this Storm 9. Okay, this is what she said this morning.
A culture of fear increasingly governed the now former coalition, and this created a toxic, unworkable environment. The country became ungovernable with many individual coalition members in parliament who thought that they should dictate what the Council of Ministers or an individual minister should do, with complete disregard to our Constitution and in violation of the path of office they had taken. The higher tenet of the trias politica was consistently at jeopardy. We were also aware that there are influential people outside of Parliament actively attempting to take the country's driver's seat, whilst comfortably sitting in the back and not being accountable. Unfortunately, we had to conclude, and as the population can see, they have won. We knew that there were Parliament coalition members secretly or even openly siding with the opposition, individually holding the entire coalition hostage or threatening to do such. We were quite cognizant of the tactics to dismantle the Council of Ministers, one by one, until a weakened COM was in place, and they would in turn control the majority in the Council of Ministers. We were also cognizant of the sabotage within the Council of Ministers. Having these members move to the other side of the aisle does not guarantee stability and unity the country needs. Therefore, on September 22nd, the Council of Ministers invoked Article 59, allowing the voters of St. Martin the opportunity to decide on the future of St. Martin.
Now, of course, nobody from the Storm 9 is talking. Per usual, whenever the opposition, they speak out loud all the time during when the coalition was having their press conference and everything was, oh my God, they need to speak more to the people and they need to be more entwined with the people and they need to give more information and they need to come out with information, and then, of course, silence from the opposition benches, of course, because they're busy forming the new government. So they have no time to speak to the people who put them there. So now, for now, we on the track to elections. Of course, the new coalition of 9, Storm 9, decides no, they don't need to go to elections because they have a majority. So it's no political impasse. It's more like whether Eugene Holiday, our governor, decides to actually sign and allow the elections to happen, because there's 2 facts. We don't have an electoral bureau for now, because the head of the electoral bureau, of the voting bureau, sorry, not the electoral bureau. That the electoral bureau is another thing. The voting bureau, Jason Rogers has moved on, or is supposed to be sworn in as the head of the audit chamber, or that's his new job that he's going to get just now. So you can imagine not having a voting bureau. Will we be prepared within the next 3 months? We just have to wait and see, guys. It's a wait and see type of situation. However, the country governing still continues. Allow me to please rectify it. I was flooded with a number of questions concerning the the resignation of Sarah Westcott Williams and Chacha Clark Peterson as chairperson and vice chairperson of Parliament. For some reason, some people are a bit confused and saying, oh, they resign as members of Parliament. Nah, they're not that crazy. They resign as the presidium of Parliament. So this is how it happens. Every single year, they have a new Parliament, a new parliamentary year that starts in September. Usually, the chair puts up their position, so they put over the position, and then the majority in parliament then votes the chair back in. Of course, because there is a new majority in parliament, there is no way, Jose, that they will be voting for Sarah Westcott Williams to become the chairperson again. So that's why right now it is she resigned. She did the right thing. Also, Claude Chacho Peterson also resigned because they don't have the majority in parliament. That's how it works, guys. But they're still full-fledged members of parliament. There were certain things that were said in the press conference from Leona Romeo Marlin that was ludicrous. Why? Because she's 2 weeks too late with this particular press conference. Because she gives the impression as if the reason why we are going back to the polls is because the Chanel Brownbear and Dr. Luke Marcelina, and they call him Luke Skywalker. I like that name. The reason why they are we going back is because they did to jump ship, which is absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous, and false news, like my good friend Trump would say. Why? Is because Frankie Myers, remember him? Yes. He was part of the Super 8, the coalition of the United Democrats and the Christian Party. Frankie Myers withdrew his support 2 weeks ago from this particular government, meaning 2 weeks ago, government fell. Nothing was said. The last thing that was said by the Prime Minister last week was, we're still looking at the political situation and we're waiting for the governor to come back. So now that the governor is back, she comes up with this press conference that she's invoking Article 59 because of the outsides and this and that and the undermining. But wait a minute. She ain't even mentioned the fact that Frankie Myers was the one that pulled his support. So don't be fooled, because now it's silly season. So people will be coming at you at different things. They'll be coming at you with different facts. It's a very simple line. We had a government that took oath last year. Sounds so horrible to say, seeing that we're going back to the polls this year. But anyway, we had a government that took oath last year. So we had elections last year in 2018, believe it or not. Now, we picked a council of ministers, the majority. There was a slim majority, but it was a majority. We had the United Democrats and we had the St. Martin Christian Party. Those two parties alone. They formed a block of 8. In order for us to understand where we're going, we need to understand where we come from. So there was many scandals that took place during this past year, and not once has the coalition before lost support. You had a bunch of people threatening to leave. You had a bunch of infighting. You had a bunch of people asking for resignation. Even ministers changed and all in order to keep the coalition intact. On the 22nd of September now, that changed. Why? Because 9 people decided to come together and form a government. Storm 9 is the name of the government. I don't give a hell what are you saying. So, the Storm 9 has the majority right now in Parliament. Let's wait and see what is going to happen, but for now, it's still pretty quiet. Now, in the event of elections, let's look at your possibilities. Let me start off with, of course, the smallest party in the Parliament right now, which is the St. Martin Christian Party. Claude Chacho Peterson right now is the face of the Christian Party because he is the member of parliament, the sole member of parliament of the Christian Party. Of course, they have a minister, which is the leader, Wycliffe John Smith. I just make up John. Anyway, so you have Wycliffe Smith and you have Claude Chacho Peterson. So the situation is that those two will have to now come back with the St. Martin Christian Party and get back candidates. Of course, you'll have some that stayed, some that left, and they have to go back to the electorate. Will they get new members? Will they get some sitting ministers? Won't they get? We don't know. It's still early to say, but it's going to be fun to watch because there are a lot of promises that they didn't live up to while in Parliament. And of course, you know, you need to understand that no matter what, the St. Martin Christian Party will always stay in power. That's my worst Chacho Claude Peterson yet. Moving on to the second smallest party in Parliament, which is the USP. Of course, let's not forget the charges and the criminal suspicions and the arrest and the release of the leader, Franz Richardson. Now, faction leader is Rolando Bryson. Napoleon Bryson is what I call him now. And of course, we'll have to wait and see whether the leadership is going to be passed on to Rolando Bryson in order for a next election to happen under the USP. Now, from what I understand, a lot of fighting going on in the USP as far as the position is concerned for leader. Whether France going to just give it up to Rolando, we'll have to wait and see. But he's, you know, smooth talker, and I'm sure he'll land on his feet and get the leadership. And then we get Napoleon Prime Minister next. You never know. Moving on from the second smallest party in the Parliament, we have the National Alliance. Let's not forget that Sylvia Jacobs, the leader of the National Alliance, and Christopher Emmanuel are right now friends because election time is coming. Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but they're going to be good. But let's not forget the infighting that took place last year after the elections. You know, Chris even went as far as almost going independent, and then he changed his mind, and then he went, and then he didn't go, and then he went, and he didn't go, and now he's just on the fence. You know, you never know which side he's going to go. But Chris always speaks his mind, and that's always going to be Chris. And Severa Jacobs always speaks her mind, and that's always going to be Silly. So those two, will they get along for the next elections? I'm sure they will, because they need to come hard and they need to come good. So they'll come and present a united front. But what's going to happen after? That is going to be the thing, because with Chris looking to double his vote, Severa looking to double her votes, we gotta wait and see. This is so exciting. Of course, the former leader, William Mallon, is still not to be counted out, even though he dropped in vote last elections. He can go a little bit higher. Atwell Irion has been always vocal. Well, not so vocal, but kind of vocal. And then you have, of course, Mr. Calibration himself, Mr. York Doran. How will he do this upcoming elections? If they have one, we'll have to wait and see, because everybody's saying, me not go vote. Of course, the United Democrats, what's going to happen with them? I think they are going to explode. They're not going to have a list this upcoming elections. They're going to go back to what they know best, which is Democratic Party, United People's Party. Who will lead the United People's Party is the question. I'm hearing it could be Stuart Johnson. I'm hearing it could be the Bush Tea. I hear it could be Cookie. Please put an Indian in charge of the United People's Party. It should be fun. Frankie Myers, independent person, independent parliamentarian right now. We'll have to wait and see where he's going to go. Of course, he won't go with the up, because he and Theo at loggerheads right now. Will he go to the Democratic Party under Sarah? Remember how much he criticized Sarah when he left. Then he started the up. Then afterwards, United Democrats. And then it was like, Sarah is the best. So, is Sarah still the best for him to go back to the Democratic Party where he started his political career? Are you next as the world turns in St. Martin? I sweating. That's how much I talking about this political thing. We can go for hours, people, but we don't have that time. So, United Democrats, they're gonna go back, like I say, up, and you got your Democratic Party. And of course, some new parties are coming in with some old parties that contested and didn't get it. So you never know what is going to happen, people. I am excited about the silly season. Whether we are going to have a new government is going to be fun either way. And make sure you stay with the late night show as we give you the latest information. But of course, my advice to all is sit back, analyze, and stop complaining because nobody cares. They're gonna say, as much as people tend to say, I'm not voting again, I'm never voting again, or you don't come by my doorstep. And then they're going to, and then the people who say that are the ones who are going to be the loudest to complain about everything a politician says in these upcoming days. Sit back, relax, study the situation, and make an informed decision once, if election comes. Woo! That's a long opening. Thank you so much for watching. Let's begin late night. We got a good one for you tonight. Okay? Let's begin.
Hype it, hype it, hype it up, yeah. Drop it.
Flashback.
Late night always tries to give you the scoop on the latest candidates, the latest, aspiring members of parliament, and of course, the current members of parliament who are going to definitely be seeking re-election because they always feel like they're doing such a great job. Let me start off with new parties first. For potential candidates, some that you have to look out for, which they started early with pushing themselves forward, is Julian Rolox Jr. Of course, if you remember the SAP party, which is from Julian Rolox Sr., his son now is following in the footsteps of his pops, and he is on the URSM party, and he will be running with the URSM party. He did some event a couple of days ago, and he got everybody wearing the Junior Rolox shirt. So he going hard. He's starting the election cycle already, even though we are the end of December, and we don't know whether we're going to have elections in November or in January of 2024. But either way, it's going to be a year of campaigning, people. So get ready for the rhetoric and get ready for all the promises. Another candidate that you have to look out for is Prince Herbert Martina, who's going to be running with the URSM. Yes, we know he's going to be running with the URSM because he's been on different programs with the URSM, and he always bigging up the URSM. So therefore, he will not be running on the National Alliance. Usually, he's been part of the National Alliance for a while. Before that, he was PPA. Now he is URSM. Is he a ship jumper? I don't think so, because he was never elected. So he just decided to find a better fit, since the National Alliance have no respect for him and send Rene to Holland instead of him. He's still vexed. He's still vexed. Chris Weaver, our former Minister of Romy, he is also running on the URSM. I think he's been hinting it on Facebook for quite some time. Weaver works. That looks like it's going to be his campaign slogan, Weaver works. So he was very short as Minister of Romy. Short time span, I think less than 6 months. But he was the minister, nevertheless. So those are some of the candidates you have to look out for on the URSM list, led by Dr. Luc Mercelina. All right, let's go into the Democratic Party. This is one of my favorites because the DP Red Machine is trying. Again, let me stress on trying or attempting, or they are maybe going to make a comeback. And they have some very interesting candidates that they're grooming in the meantime. First, we have Roberto Richardson. which is Jeffrey Richardson's brother. Remember the Concordia Alliance, the party, the Concordia Alliance. Now we have Roberto Richardson, who's going to be running with the Democratic Party, which normally they usually are National Alliance type of family, but it looks like they're going towards the Democratic Party. So let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting. He's hosting a live stream with his brother Jeffrey on a weekly basis, interact streaming Facebook. That's very interesting and gives you an insight of St. Martin families and some of the topics that are trending on the island. So he is a candidate to look out for. Ludmila the Weaver. Yes, we heard that Ludi might be going to the Democratic Party, and she might be a strong number 2 candidate, I hear, or 3, or maybe number 1. But then that means Auntie Sarah not going to be number 1. I don't know what's going to happen there. But we hearing, the kids underneath the tree that's in Middle Region, or Dutch Quarter, or Soccer Garden, or St. Peter's, or the boys on the block, they're talking. And they say, you ain't hearing? Ludi going with DP? And I was like, what? Say what? So, Ludi the Weaver might be going on the Democratic Party, so that is something to look out for, because the Weaver family has always, had a representative in government, and now Ludi is going to be on a new party. She is, of course, from the United People's Party before, and now she is on the Democratic Party, maybe. She might change her mind last minute, so don't keep me to it, but that's why I'm hearing, so don't cuss me, okay? Next candidate that we're hearing that is on the Democratic Party is Krisha Heiliger Martin. Yes, the Heiligers have chosen to go back home to the Democratic Party. And is the up in trouble? Oh, they're in trouble. Yes, they're in trouble. Because remember, Theo Heiliger is officially from the Democratic Party. Then afterwards, he got vexed with Sarah, so he started his United People's Party. Then he joined with Sarah and made the United Democrat Party. Then he got sentenced and convicted, and then he had to leave the United Democratic Party with Sarah, so Sarah went back to the Democratic Party. You lost? Yeah, me too. St. Martin is a real place. Sorry, that's crazy. Okay, so anyway, so the Democratic Party is trying to rein back its stalwarts. So we're hearing that Krisha Heiliger Martin will be running with the Democratic Party with Auntie Sarah, and that is going to be some trouble for the United People's Party, but we're going to get to them very soon. Also, Dimar Labega, of a National Alliance candidate from the last elections, we're hearing that he's running with the Democratic Party for the next elections. He resigned recently from the National Alliance because I think he had a disagreement with the Prime Minister, something about the Prime Minister being no good, and I agree. But in any case, he decided to just, part ways with the National Alliance and decided to go back home because the Labegas are known for being with the Democratic Party. And of course, some other stalwarts that I'm not going to mention right now, but of course, Auntie Sarah, whether she's going to be at the helm or she's going to be at the bottom, 23, or number 1, either way, Auntie Sarah is going to have, trying to have a star-studded cast of politicians for the next elections. So the DP Red Machine is trying to make a comeback. Whether that is going to happen or not, we have to wait and see. Next up, the United People's Party. Okay, so we know the tallest member of Parliament, Rolanda Bryson, as your number 1 candidate. Of course, then I'm hearing that Cookie, yes, Sidat Belani, our current President of Parliament, is going to be running again with the United People's Party. Don't know why, but he will. Okay, then we have Chanel Brownbill going back to the United People's Party. Now, I need you to stay with me. Chanel Brownbill was on the United People's Party, then he went to the USP Party, then he went to the United Democrats, and then he went to the USP Party. And after the USP Party, he going back to the UP Party. I confused. But in any case, the independent member will be running with the United People's Party this time around. That's what we're hearing. That's what the boys on the block are saying, and you know they're never wrong. Also, speaking about boys on the block, Member of Parliament Akeem Arinel will be running with the United People's Party also, from what we're hearing. Yes, because, you know, he was with the United St. Martin Party before, and then afterwards he went independent, and afterwards he went independent. Now he is going with the UP Party. It's going to be his first time going with a different party, because the first time he ran with the USP. Okay, so those two current members of parliament who are independent will be running with the United People's Party. Let me move on to the incoming Minister of TIAT, Leo Lambix, will also be running for the next elections, and he will be running, guess where? The United People's Party also, because they need candidates, because everybody else is running away. So therefore, they you know, invited Leo Lambix to also be a candidate on the party of the United People's Party. So there you go, another candidate. And also, Charlon Pompier, he is a hot candidate to look out for, because he was the co-founder of the PFP party, and then the PFP expelled him. So now he is on the United People's Party, from what are we hearing through the grapevines, and he is going to be a candidate on the UP. That is also a big vote getter, so to speak, because he did get a good amount of votes during the last time that he ran. Not enough to get elected, but just enough to be noticed. So he is bringing his votes to the United People's Party. And will it work? Or won't it work? We'll have to wait and see. Then, of course, we have Bria Sorton. Yes, the Sorton family are going into politics. And, of course, Bria Sorton is a former carnival queen, and she is currently working in the UP faction in Parliament, and she is also going to be a candidate on the United People's Party. All right? Okay, good. You stay with me. Then we have the Minister of Everything, Minister Omar Otley, who is also going to be on the United People's Party. But there is a big but. During the last elections in 2020, his uncle, Frankie Myers, started a new party called the St. Martin Action Movement, which is short for SAM. Don't ask. But anyway, so the St. Martin Action Movement was formed by Frankie Myers. That is it for the Leader Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until Monday, let's hope we have a quiet weekend. But then I just already jinxed it by saying hope. Subscribe.